from that, the Bureau of Public Safety says the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, GCAA, is partly to blame for the Starbow accident, which almost claimed some 68 lives aboard its plane in November last year. The Kumasi-bound aircraft overshot the runway at the Kotoka International Airport as it attempted to take off. Well, Nanaya Akwada, executive director of the Bureau, says the incident could have been avoided if the GCAA had issued the required airworthiness directive. And he's also calling on Parliament to investigate the matter as this poses a threat to passenger safety. Well, Dr. Akparibo is the technical advisor on aviation with the Bureau of Public Safety. He's here to explain their position further. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. So, Executive Director Mr. Akwada talks about an airworthiness that should have been issued, and he believes that this could have averted what we saw in November. Explain to us what exactly that entails. Okay.
Good morning,
to
your viewers. Yeah, so I'm here as a member of the Aerospace Medical Association. I only offered expert advice to the Bureau of Public Safety, so I just want to clarify.
Oh, sure. Technical advisor to the Safety Bureau.
To the Safety Bureau. Yeah, so it's not that the Civil Aviation was supposed to issue a directive. What happened was that EASA, which is the European Aviation Safety Agency, issued a directive in 2016 regarding the cease of the pilot and co-pilot of the aircraft that got involved in the accident.
This particular aircraft?
Like the model of the aircraft.
Okay, the model.
Okay. Yeah. So, and the airworthiness directive, when it's issued that way, is circulated all over the world. And the civil aviation authorities of the various countries are supposed to pick it up and then implement the directive. Now, this directive was supposed to be from December 2016 to December 2018. So when this aircraft came in, the civil aviation, it's like you taking your car to the DVLA for licensing. So the civil aviation had to do like an inspection and then make sure that the aircraft is worthy to fly. And then they got to know about the directive. So they were supposed to implement the directive. So when you look at the accident investigative report, they stated clearly that the civil aviation should have implemented that directive, but they don't know why they allowed it to.
What was that directive that you should have implemented?
Yeah, the directive states that the seats and then of the pilot and co-pilot of the ATR 72 aircrafts could inadvertently move rearward, that's like backward, during takeoff or landing. And when that happens, the pilot can lose control of the aircraft and it can lead to an accident. So that is what the directive says.
It could move forward?
Yeah, backward.
Backward.
Yeah, and when it does that, then the pilot can lose control of the aircraft, which can result in an accident.
And per that report, is that what happened?
Yeah.
Which led to this particular incident?
Exactly. So per that report, that is exactly what happened. So that is why I think that this accident could have been prevented if the civil aviation had implemented that directive issued by EASA. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. So you have cited that particular report, and for which you're making all these pronouncements or statements.
Yeah.
What apart from this particular incident, what is in that report that is worth mentioning?
Yeah, there are three key issues in that report. You see, from the pre-accident, during the accident, and then after the accident. The pre-accident, I just mentioned about the directive. Now, during the accident, the crew also made some violations. In aviation, we do with checklists. Everything is checklist. No matter how often you do it, you must always follow a checklist. So I think the crew did not follow the checklist as cited in the report. And then they also said the weather. Now, if I take my phone, I can know the hour-by-hour weather forecast of Accra, and aviation weather, which we call META, is always available for air traffic control and even pilots. When I'm flying in Dayton, before I take off, I have to check the weather of my my departure airport and then the airport I'm going to, arrival. So the weather that day in Accra wasn't that bad. Investigators just said the weather changed suddenly, and then it became like a change to instrument meteorological conditions. So when we say instrument meteorological conditions, that means you cannot see your horizon, so you need to depend on your instruments to fly. And I think that air traffic control should have they should have known that if we don't have the equipment to do that, then air traffic, they need to change the system and then make sure that we get the right equipment that can give adequate weather to the pilots so that they can always plan before taking off. Now, the post-accident, normally with crash landers, the post-accident events makes a difference. That is when we get to know who will survive and who will not survive. And when you look at the response by the airport staff, it took about, the ambulance that was parked at the fire station was not working.
At the airport?
Yeah, at the airport.
Wasn't working?
It wasn't. It wasn't. They couldn't operate that ambulance. So now they had to call the ambulance at the aviation clinic. And that ambulance took about 14 minutes to get to the accident scene, which I think is not appropriate.
Okay, briefly wrapping up, are there any sanctions that?
Yeah, normal with aircraft accident investigations, we don't sanction people. We don't also put blame. We always want to bring out the issues to make the system better. We want the skies to be safer for passengers and everybody. So they are not, we don't recommend sanctions.
So it means nobody's going to be punished?
Yeah,
So even if we had lost some lives, nobody will be punished?
Yeah, if we had, there could be fines. Normally there could be fines, you know, and normally also in where I'm from, if like the responsible officer, like the civil aviation, the one who was supposed to ensure this, normally has to resign.
When you say where you are from, what do you mean?
That is in the US.
Okay.
Like, yeah, so people have to learn to take responsibility for actions that lead to like problems. So yeah, so what I recommend is that I think going forward we need to like do an audit and then make sure that the emergency response system at the airport, and then also check personnel training, standard operations and procedures. We need to go through them to make sure that they meet the minimum standards are required by ICAO. South Africa had an audit and now their system is better. So I think we can also do the same. I
really appreciate your time here this morning, Doc. Okay. Really insightful conversation there. Dr. Starbow is a doctor in aerospace medicine, giving us some details about the call from the Bureau of Public Safety for the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority to take the blame, or to share the blame of what happened with regards to the Starbow incident in November last year.